Have you ever set a goal and felt fired up, only to realize months later that you haven't moved an inch closer to it? You're not alone. Most people chase goals like they are treasures at the end of a rainbow, but the truth is, goals are fragile. They can be delayed, they can be missed, and when they fail, we feel like failures. But what if I told you there's a way to change your life, a way to make progress inevitable? That way is not setting goals, it's creating systems. You see, goals focus on results, but systems focus on action. Goals are like looking at the finish line. Systems are about creating a path that naturally gets you there. When you rely on goals alone, your progress depends on motivation, willpower, and luck. But when you build a system, your progress depends on a process, on a repeatable set of actions that don't fail. The beauty of a system is that it works whether you feel motivated or not. It becomes automatic. Think about it this way. Small, consistent actions compound over time. A single push-up doesn't make you strong, but one every day for a year transforms your body. One page of study a day won't make you an expert overnight, but it will over time. The same goes for business, finances, health, and relationships. Systems turn small, ordinary actions into extraordinary results. Success isn't about intensity, it's about consistency. You cannot rely on bursts of effort. You cannot rely on willpower alone. You must create a structure that produces results without depending on your mood, without depending on the perfect moment, without depending on luck. Another critical point is that systems are measurable. When you track results, you're chasing a moving target. Results fluctuate. But when you track your actions, you are always in control. You can always improve your process, refine your approach, and adjust as needed. When your focus shifts from the outcome to the process, stress disappears. Frustration fades. You start winning because you control what is within your power, not what is outside it. The next secret is refinement. No system is perfect on day one. You will test it, fail, adjust, and refine. That's how systems grow stronger. That's how they become unstoppable. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you rise to the level of your system. And once your system is working, the results come naturally. You stop relying on hope, motivation, or luck. You start relying on your structure, on your discipline, on the process that guarantees progress. Finally, the most powerful aspect of systems is how they shape your identity. Systems aren't just routines, they are the reflection of the person you're becoming. If you create a system of reading, learning, and taking action daily, you become a knowledgeable, capable person. If you create a system of daily exercise and nutrition, you become strong and healthy. Systems transform you from the inside out. They don't just change your results, they change who you are. So today, stop chasing goals. Stop relying on motivation alone. Design your life around systems. Build small, consistent actions that compound. Track the actions, refine the process, and let the system carry you forward. Create systems that reflect who you want to become, and watch as your life transforms beyond what you ever imagined. Because success is not about luck. Success is about systems. And when you master your systems, nothing can stop you. Your life doesn't change by wishing. It changes by doing, by creating, refining, and committing to systems that pull you forward every single day. That is how ordinary people achieve extraordinary results. That is how you change your life forever. Too many people spend their lives chasing outcomes, whether it's money, recognition, a promotion, or some dream they've imagined in their mind. They set a goal, visualize it, and wait for it to happen. But here's the truth, outcomes are unpredictable. They depend on factors outside your control. You can do everything right and still fall short if circumstances don't line perfectly. Chasing outcomes is like trying to catch the wind. You can stretch your hands as far as you want, but it slips through your fingers. The real power comes when you stop focusing on the end result and start focusing on the behaviors that naturally produce that result. Instead of obsessing over making $100,000 this year, focus on the daily actions that lead to that income. Showing up consistently, providing value, learning the skills that earn it, and creating a system that keeps you moving forward every day. When your energy is invested in repeatable behaviors, your results become a natural byproduct. Think about the people who succeed. They don't wake up and think, I need success today. They wake up and do the things that successful people do, day in and day out. Their habits, their routines, their systems. They repeat them consistently, and over time, the results manifest. Repeatable behaviors are the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. The secret is that when you focus on behaviors, you remove pressure and eliminate anxiety. You no longer measure your worth by outcomes. You measure your commitment by your actions. And the beauty of repeatable behaviors is that they compound. One small action repeated consistently grows into something unstoppable. You may not see it today, you may not see it tomorrow, but over weeks, months, and years, your life begins to transform in ways you never imagined. So stop chasing outcomes. Stop relying on luck or waiting for the right time. Invest your energy in building repeatable behaviors and let them carry you to the life you've always wanted. Success becomes inevitable when your actions are consistent, focused, and unstoppable. Most people try to will themselves into success. They rely on motivation, discipline, and hope, thinking that's enough to carry them through. But the truth is, human willpower is limited, and life will always throw obstacles in your path. That's why you needed a system, a structure that pulls you forward even when you don't feel like it, even when circumstances are tough, even when motivation is gone. A system is not just a routine. It's a design for your life that makes progress inevitable. It removes guesswork and eliminates excuses. When you have a system, success becomes less about luck or talent and more about a process you control. It's like building a machine. You put the right pieces in place, and it starts working for you automatically. You don't have to push it every day. The system carries you. Think about the difference between trying to lose weight versus creating a system of daily exercise, proper nutrition, and tracking your progress. One relies on willpower and desire, which can falter. The other moves you forward regardless of how you feel. The system makes it automatic. The same applies to business, learning, finances, or personal growth. When you design a system that pulls you forward, you stop relying on motivation and start relying on momentum. The beauty of a well-designed system is that it compounds over time. Each day, the actions you take within your system build on the last. Small wins accumulate, and what seemed impossible becomes inevitable. A system doesn't just help you reach a goal. It creates a pathway that leads you to continuous improvement, growth, and success long after the goal is achieved. And here's the most important part. A system gives you freedom. Freedom from stress, from pressure, from the fear of failure. When your system is solid, you don't have to wonder if you're doing enough. You don't have to wait for motivation, and you don't have to depend on luck. You simply show up and let the system do the work. Design your life around systems that pull you forward. Build structures that carry you through every day, even when life is hard, even when you're tired, even when nobody is watching. Once you do this, you stop chasing outcomes and you start living a life where progress is inevitable. So many people believe that success comes from one big effort, one grand gesture, one massive breakthrough. They think if they just work harder, push longer, or make one perfect move, everything will change overnight. But real success doesn't work that way. It doesn't come from occasional bursts of effort. It comes from small, consistent actions taken day after day, month after month, year after year. Think about it. A single drop of water doesn't move mountains, but a constant drip over time can carve a canyon through solid rock. Success works the same way. Small actions repeated consistently build momentum that cannot be stopped. One email sent today, one page studied today, one step forward today. These may feel insignificant in the moment, but over time, they compound into extraordinary results. Consistency creates trust in yourself. When you show up every day, even when it's inconvenient, even when it's uncomfortable, you prove to yourself that you can rely on your own discipline. And when you trust yourself, motivation becomes secondary because you know that the system you've built will carry you forward. The problem with big occasional efforts is that they create peaks and valleys. 1 week of extreme effort may feel amazing, but the next week, without follow-through, everything slips back. Small, consistent actions remove those highs and lows. They create a steady, unstoppable rhythm. They create habits that stick and systems that work even when life gets complicated. Every success story you admire was built this way. Not by someone who worked hard for a week and quit, but by someone who showed up every single day, made small improvements, and let the power of consistency compound their efforts into extraordinary results. So stop waiting for that one massive push. Stop thinking that success will come in leaps. Focus on the small, consistent actions that move you forward, no matter how tiny they seem, because these are the actions that transform ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. These are the actions that make success inevitable, unstoppable, and lifelong. Most people measure success by the results they get, and that's a dangerous trap. When you focus on results, you're putting your happiness, your confidence, and your motivation in the hands of things you cannot control. Sales numbers might drop, a project might fail, or the recognition you hoped for might never come. And suddenly all your effort feels wasted. But results are outside your control. What you can control are the actions you take, the process you follow, the system you build. When you shift your focus from results to processes, everything changes. You start to measure your success by the things you can control, showing up, taking the right steps, learning, improving, and consistently moving forward. You no longer feel defeated when outcomes fluctuate, because you know that if you follow the process faithfully, the results will come in time. You're not chasing luck. You're building reliability. Think about it like a farmer planting seeds. The farmer cannot control the weather, but the farmer can control the soil, the watering, and the care given to the crops. The harvest is uncertain, but by focusing on the process, the farmer guarantees the best possible outcome. Life works the same way. You cannot always control the outcome, but you can control the work you put in each day. That work compounds, and eventually results follow naturally. Tracking processes also creates clarity and momentum. When you see yourself consistently executing the right actions, you gain confidence, even if the results aren't immediate. You know that progress is happening behind the scenes, that each action is a building block, and that your system is working. And when you focus on the process, failure loses its power. Setbacks become lessons, adjustments become opportunities, and the path forward becomes clear. So stop tying your worth to outcomes. Stop judging yourself by what happens outside your control. Measure yourself by your actions, by your process, by the habits you build and the system you follow. Master the process, and the results will take care of themselves. Because when your focus is on process, success is not a hope, it's a guarantee. No system is perfect the first time you create it. Life is unpredictable, circumstances change, and challenges will always appear. That's why refining your system is essential. You don't set a system once and hope it works forever. You adjust, improve, and perfect it until it produces consistent, predictable results. Success isn't about luck. It's about designing a system that works reliably, day in and day out, and being willing to fine-tune it until it does. The beauty of refining your system is that it puts you in control. You're no longer at the mercy of chance or motivation. Each time you identify what's working and what isn't, you make your system stronger, more resilient, and more effective. You learn from setbacks instead of being defeated by them. You discover new ways to simplify, streamline, and accelerate progress. Every adjustment you make compounds the effectiveness of the system, turning small changes into massive results over time. This is where most people fail. They create a system, hit a wall, and give up. They blame circumstances, blame themselves, or wait for inspiration to strike. But winners refine relentlessly. They test, tweak, and improve until their system produces results almost automatically. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you rise to the level of your system. The stronger your system, the higher you can go. Refining your system also builds confidence. When you see that your process consistently produces results, you stop doubting yourself. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. You stop fearing failure. You trust your system because it has been tested, improved, and proven to work. This confidence fuels momentum, and momentum is unstoppable. So commit to refining your system. Don't settle for good enough. Study, analyze, and improve continuously. Make small adjustments, measure the impact, and keep moving forward. The moment you master this, results are no longer a mystery. They become a predictable outcome of your disciplined, well-designed, and continuously improving system. Success stops being a dream and starts being a reality. The most powerful systems don't just produce results. They change who you are. A system is not just a routine or a set of actions. It is a reflection of the person you are becoming. Every time you show up, every time you follow your system, you are sending a message to yourself about who you are and what you are capable of. Over time, these repeated actions shape your identity. And when your identity changes, your results follow naturally. Think about it. If you want to be a healthy person, you don't just set a goal to lose weight. You create a system of daily exercise, proper nutrition, and self-care. By committing to that system consistently, you start to see yourself as a healthy person. Your identity shifts, and the healthy choices no longer feel like a struggle. They become a part of who you are. The same is true for wealth, for learning, for discipline, for leadership. Your systems are literally creating the version of you that the world will see. This is the ultimate advantage of systems over goals. Goals tell you what to achieve, systems tell you who to become. When your systems are aligned with your values, your vision, and your long-term purpose, they transform your character and your life simultaneously. You stop trying to force results externally, and instead, results flow naturally because your identity has caught up with the life you want to live. Identity-based systems also make success effortless. When your daily actions reflect who you are, showing up becomes automatic. You don't rely on willpower or luck. You rely on the fact that this is who you are. Your choices, your habits, and your behaviors are consistent with your identity. And consistency is the engine of extraordinary achievement. So ask yourself, who do I want to become? What systems will create that identity? Every action you take today is shaping that version of you. Commit to systems that build your character, that define your habits, and that transform your life from the inside out. When you do this, success is no longer a goal to chase. It is the natural outcome of the person you've become. Your systems don't just change your life, they change you, and that is unstoppable. In the end, life doesn't reward those who simply set goals or hope for change. Life rewards those who create systems. Systems that pull them forward, systems that build momentum, systems that shape their identity and make success inevitable. When you focus on repeatable behaviors, when you take small, consistent actions, when you track your process, refine it, and let it define who you are, you stop chasing luck, you stop chasing motivation, and you start creating results that cannot be denied. Remember, success is not a single event, it is a natural byproduct of the systems you build and the person you become in the process. Every choice, every action, every habit compounds over time to create a life far greater than what you ever imagined. The systems you design today determine the results you will achieve tomorrow. So stop setting goals that depend on luck, motivation, or timing. Build systems that work whether you feel like it or not. Commit to the process, refine it relentlessly, and let it shape the best version of yourself. When you do this, progress becomes inevitable, growth becomes unstoppable, and success becomes not just possible, but certain. Your future is not created by wishes. It is built by the systems you choose to live by. Choose wisely, build consistently, become the person your dreams demand you to be. And when you do, nothing in this world can stop you.